right now is a pretty interesting format. We'll be doing some lightning talks with subject matter experts here. They'll be talking about how to hook, convert, and repeat, giving very tactical talks on winning customers. We will start here with Ben.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, it's great to be here. For those of you who are not familiar with Quantcast, we are an AI-founded advertising platform that does two things exceptionally well. The first is we are able to identify what kinds of audiences have the higher likelihood of converting versus others. And the second is we're actually able to optimize towards those audiences, placing ads across a myriad of different devices, channels, and areas so that folks get influenced by your particular ads and drive to an end conversion point. And believe it or not, we end up having a lot of different conversations with a lot of different retailers. And the same conversations occur in almost every single instance. Two challenges are present. The first is that the same type of advertising channels and advertising mix is often just not driving the amount of impact that it used to provide. And the second is all of our bosses have constantly been asking us to do more with less. And so in trying to simplify and provide a solution to these really complex challenges, we wanted to start off by creating two major inventory tranches that we can think about when we're looking for solutions. And the first is an area what we call the open internet. And so think about this as channels that we spend a lot of time and energy in, like connected TV, podcasts, premium websites, mobile apps. And the second is walled gardens, which we all know really well, search and social. And for many of us, we've probably spent the majority of our careers mastering and optimizing towards this particular area, simply because most of our customers have spent the majority of their time within this major ecosystem. However, based on the latest data, we are seeing a massive change in where people are spending time, and more importantly, where people are spending their attention. And now, this is an interesting fact on its own, moving from walled gardens into open internet-based advertising. However, there's not really a big takeaway here until we juxtapose it with where all of us are spending the majority of our advertising dollars. With over 61% of time now being spent in the open internet, only 21% of our marketing dollars are being spent communicating to these individuals, having a conversation with them, which leaves a huge gap from an advertising perspective. A lot of our customers are starting to become hip to this particular idea. And what they found is that by combining open web-based advertising with a walled garden strategy, you end up seeing outsized results. So much so, one major retailer that we work with received over an 80% increase in their conversion rate. That's huge. Now, I wouldn't expect everybody to receive an 80% increase in conversion rate, but the idea is that all of our customers today are omni-channel. We've heard that buzzword probably 100 different times throughout this conference. And that simply means that we are fluidly traversing a variety and a myriad of different channels, environments, and devices. And in order to do that, our advertising strategy should match where we spend the most amount of time. And today, where we're seeing that opportunity is matching our investments in the walled gardens into the open internet. And this allows us to create that omni-channel strategy, connect with our consumer in the places where they're spending their time and their energy and their attention. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Hi guys, my name is Jamie. I am the head of sales at Instant, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about the secret to explosive retention growth. Okay, up here we have just a select few of some of the amazing brands we work with here at Instant. The way that we work with these brands is by identifying their anonymous shoppers online. Our ability to do so enables us to double these brands' flow revenue within the first month of partnering with us. A few examples. Azuna was able to see a 30 times ROI in the first month of using Instant. Both Higher Dose and Virgil Girl each independently saw a 28 times ROI in their first month partnering with us. And July Luggage is a very exciting partner who is actually part of our $1 Million Club, meaning that in the first year of leveraging Instant, they have seen over $1 million in incremental revenue. So, how do we deliver such strong results? Well, identifying anonymous shoppers online. Now, a lot of brands aren't aware of just what that breakdown is. Well, 98% of your shoppers online are effectively anonymous. How is that to be? Well, with just about any ESP, think, for example, Klaviyo, you're relying on a third-party cookie that has a very, very quick turnaround, aka an expiry, okay? Now with that cookie, that is the tracking mechanism that you are relying on to track your existing customer base and ultimately convert the traffic that you've paid tons of marketing dollars to navigate to your site. So take Jane, for example. She lands on your website. Okay, she doesn't quite purchase just yet. She's thinking about it, but she opts in. Okay, she submits her email address. Now, if Jane engages in any type of buying activity outside of that 24-hour cookie expiry, as far as you're concerned, you can't remarket to Jane. You don't know that Jane has even come back to your website. So on day 2, when she views a product, she's not getting an abandoned browse flow. On day 14, when she adds a product to cart, she's not getting an abandoned cart flow. Okay? Jane and that sale is effectively lost. Enter Instant. So we have the ability to track outside of that cookie expiry, yielding higher conversions using your existing abandonment flows. So I've talked a lot about ROI. What does that actually mean from a dollar perspective? Third Love saw a 15 times ROI, and that yielded over $80,000 in incremental revenue. Cat's Pajamas with a 12 times ROI, that yielded over $70,000 in incremental revenue. And the Gunner with a 9 times ROI saw over $50,000 in incremental revenue. I keep saying incremental intentionally because this is truly traffic, or not traffic, but shoppers that you otherwise wouldn't have converted if you weren't able to trigger these flows using the traffic that you already have. So how does Instant work and why does it matter? With a 99.9% accuracy, we're able to identify return customers on your website. Okay, we then filter out the highest intent activities that are taking place. Think your abandoned browse, add to cart, and checkout started flows. We automatically trigger those flows within your ESP, yielding a higher conversion. So how do we unlock growth? Super simple. We double your flow revenue in the first 30 days. We ensure an absolute bare minimum of a 4 times ROI, with many more astronomical numbers, as we've seen. We use the existing messaging that already exists in your abandoned browse, add to cart, and checkout started flows. And all of this is revenue that you can see that's truly incremental using our reporting that actually pulls directly from Klaviyo. So if anyone's interested in hearing a little bit more about what specific revenue your brand can see, please stop by our booth. We're at number 205, same floor, just other end of the hall. We'd be happy to work with you. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Jeff Fisher. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about top of funnel marketing channels that drive new customer acquisition. A little bit about me. I've been an entrepreneur since I've been 22, built multiple companies in the performance marketing space. Founded Outwave about 10 years ago. Outwave in particular specializes in driving traffic through email, sending out emails, driving traffic back to our advertisers' sites. in my career, I've been really fortunate enough to spend time with dozens, if not hundreds, in marketing rooms with dozens, dozens of advertisers, brands, CMOs, and what I often find is that after people get to Google and Facebook, what are the other strategies that we're doing, and kind of breaks down after that. So today, I want to talk about 3 different strategies: package inserts, podcasts, and email advertising, channels that are kind of off the beaten path, but we see that actually performs really, really well in other channels, and a lot of brands are leveraging these to really help supplement their media mix. First, package inserts, right? What are they? Basically, a lot of the e-com advertisers, brands these days, you're able to kind of partner with them. They're selling space within their package that they're shipping. We're able to put some sort of promo, maybe get 10, 15% off into that package. What it allows you to do is hit an e-commerce consumer, someone who just bought something online, who has a propensity to buy online. They're able to, they get the code, and typically we see that has a high intent user who then makes a purchase. The next would be podcasts, and we often find that podcasts, it's a growing channel. There's a lot of inventory in the channel. We find that the consumers, the people who listen to the podcast, are very deeply engaged, and we find that podcasts really relate to the it works really well for complex products, right? So if you really have to describe or talk about or explain your product, or if you're a brand new product, podcasts actually work really, really well. And then lastly, what we do, right, is email advertising, right? So we're specifically working with publishers who are deploying out emails on our brand's behalf. Dedicated solos, so when the consumer sees it, the brand has 100% share of voice, control of the subject line, control of the actual email creative. So by the time the user opens, clicks, gets through, and goes to the website, that user has much higher intent than, let's say, other channels. We find this extremely effective, right? Especially in the performance marketing world, where performance is all about, can you drive a high intent click, but also, can you do it at a reasonable price? And again, because of email, not a whole lot of people are buying in the channel. Right now, it's not this super competitive programmatic channel. You get a high intent user for a low price. Combine that together, you're going to get a better performance outcome. So some of the emails that we've done, some of the brands that we've worked with, and a few takeaways, right? So if you really want to win at top of funnel marketing, don't do what everybody else is doing. Look for the channels that offer reach, targeting, measurable performance that are different. And again, email advertising remains one of the most proven, scalable, and effective ways to acquire new customers. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I am Kurt Frieden, the SVP of Business Development over at Everflow, and today we are going to be talking about scaling consumer acquisition via performance partnerships. Just out of curiosity to gauge the audience, how many people have ever bought traffic on Facebook or Google? I was expecting more hands, but okay. So you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with just throwing test budget out there, hoping for the best, and sometimes those tests don't get any sort of results, right? Well, the great thing about performance marketing is that from an economic standpoint, you're only paying for results. And gone are the days of just throwing test budget out there and not getting anything. At least with performance, you're able to create a relationship with your partner where you're only paying for either clicks, sales, leads, whatever it happens to be. The economics of partner marketing is just really, really strong. You can scale with less risk, obviously, because you're not just throwing money out into a media source and just hoping that you're going to get some sort of an action. In this case, you're only paying for that desired outcome, and it gives you the ability to test new products very quickly, test new channels, new territories very quickly without having the risk of just throwing money into this pit and hoping for the best. And then, of course, there's rapid growth. You're able to tap into audiences outside of the traditional media sources, and it gives you the ability to go and test new places. So, from our perspective, performance partnerships are just built stronger. With affiliate partnerships, again, you're able to get into a bunch of different audiences that you wouldn't likely get with the traditional media sources. With influencer partnerships, you're able to tap into these micro niches of really passionate, an audience that's very passionate, that wants to engage, certainly with the influencer, and when that influencer makes those recommendations, those are really, really strong referrals there. And then there's referral partners, which is actually a favorite for us on our side. Those customers tend to be the best, right? When you have a friend that refers you a product that says, hey, this is really cool, this has helped me in some sort of a way, those tend to be your biggest fans, your biggest advocates out there, and they drive great results. And then there's even more partner types. There's content publishers. I think a lot of people think about your traditional coupon sites, et cetera. We have our buy now, pay later. I'm not going to go through all of these. I want to highlight two that I think are a little bit surprising for the e-commerce audience. So connected television, this is a source that I think is very underutilized in e-commerce. We had an e-commerce client come test out connected TV, and they saw a multiple six-figure increase in revenue per month just by testing out that source. And then the other source that I wanted to touch on, I think, is media buyers. Again, when people think of affiliate, they think of those coupon sites. They think of those traditional sources where we think that there's a lot of really unique traffic that come from these media buyers, and they can provide insane scale. So that's a source that I really highly recommend you guys check out. I should say, I did have to go backwards. We do have a QR code here if you just want to download all that. Then the next step is really just understanding the data, gathering all the data, making sure that you are tracking everything appropriately. So the first step is to track all of those partnerships, ideally in one location. I'll let you guys guess what tools are able to do that. You want to be able to view the performance, not just at the partner level, but go a little bit deeper. I was having a conversation earlier today with somebody who was working with a partner that was on a different network, and they were looking at things just very high level, just at that partner level. There's more to your partner's traffic than just who that partner is. Track the subsources, track creative IDs. Everything, those different sub-segments of the traffic are going to perform differently. And then study the full user journey. A lot of companies I find are just tracking that initial conversion, that initial sale, that initial lead. There's so much more to that conversion. If you can track if that customer goes and purchases again, track it back to that original source, you're going to have a much better story to be able to tell your team and to focus where you want to be putting your marketing dollars. So next steps, determine how you want to grow. Decide what metrics matter to you, whether it's clicks, leads, sales, etc. Recruit those new partners, review that data often, and then utilize a centralized platform, one like Everflow. Thank you.